Good afternoon. Today I will be discussing how to mitigate the negative impacts the promotion of hate has on New Zealand and the wider world. I will specifically be using examples from New Zealand and looking at how individuals' mental models impact the promotion of hate. My solution stems from the themes of education and perception. My team members will be promoting solutions that aim to solve the promotion of hate through stricter publication requirements, less access to hateful content on social media, and prevention through socialisation. What is the promotion of hate? And why is it detrimental, not only to individuals, but our societies as a whole? As a team, we define the promotion of hate as the act of support or encouragement of intense dislike. This is often motivated by prejudice towards specific religions, sexualities, ethnicities, or similar groups. Hate is promoted globally in both outright expressions and subtle discriminations. An example of a large-scale hate crime is the 2019 mosque shooting in Christchurch, New Zealand. This atrocity was committed by a white supremacist whose hateful prejudices and mental model led him to commit this horrific attack. White supremacist beliefs are one example of hateful perceptions that are often reinforced by extremist groups, such as the KKK, which is predominantly found in America. More subtle acts of hate are experienced daily, such as discrimination, vandalism, and hate speech. New Zealand is an extremely diverse country, and between 2022 and 2023, race-motivated abuse made up 83% of all complaints, followed by incidents targeting people's sexuality and religion. One example of this was an attack on an Otago high school student in 2022 whose hijab was ripped from her head and she was beaten by parents for refusing to swear in Arabic. It is important we utilise these examples as a way to educate people about the negative impacts that hateful perceptions can have on our societies. Hate has a profound effect on not only victims' lives, but their families, witnesses, and wider communities. A report from the Victorian Department of Health in Australia states that it is clear that exposure to such discrimination increases the risk of psychiatric disorders, psychiatric distress, subclinical paranoia, and lower self-reported life satisfaction. Hateful acts specifically impair victims' lives as they must live in fear of being targeted for something as non-intrusive as expressing their beliefs, culture, sexuality, or simply living in the skin they were born with. In order to solve any problem, we must first understand how the problem is created. As hate is a highly psychological and individualistic issue, it has proven to be quite difficult to identify the key instigators. However, these ideas have recurrently been provided to explain why people commit and promote hate. The main explanation can be understood by the concept of the defender. People who commit and promote hate with the people who target victims with the justification that their actions were necessary to eliminate a threat. Further explanations for hateful attacks are that they are revenge-fueled, committed by immoral and illegal thrill-seekers, and the rare occurrence of crusaders. Regardless of whether a perpetrator's actions are driven by a perceived threat or revenge, it is the individual's values, beliefs, and assumptions that drive these actions, and these beliefs stem from their mental models. Therein lies the fundamental solution to the problem. Peter Senge, the founding chair of the Society of Organizational Learning, describes mental models as deeply ingrained assumptions, generalizations, or even pictures or images that determine how people understand the world around them and how we take action. He argues that like a pane of glass, framing and subtly distorting our vision, our mental models determine what we see, thus limiting people's ability to change. Changing these models means changing how people see and react to the world around them, which can be a frightening concept. The issue with this is that people are often not aware of their mental models, and in order for these to positively change, people must first acknowledge that their current mental models have negative and possibly harmful aspects. Therefore, the real solution to the promotion of hate must target the foundation of hateful beliefs, and consequently, people's mental models need to change. The question is, how do we prevent people from developing hateful mental models? My solution aims to counteract the promotion of hate with the promotion of diversity. If we are able to change people's mental models to become less discriminatory, then in theory there will be less motivation to commit and promote hate in our societies. I propose the only effective way to solve the promotion of hate is to stop it at its roots. A study by J.A. Krosnick identified results that support the impressionable years hypothesis, which proposes that individuals are more susceptible to attitude change during adolescence and early adulthood. Therefore, we must prioritize the prevention of hateful mental models in children, as they are still developing their perspective of the world and are proven to be more impressionable. I propose a radical solution in which the education of a vast majority of cultures, religions, sexualities, and ethnicities become a mandatory part of the school curriculum. By educating students about the diversity in our world, they will be less likely to follow stereotypical beliefs later in life. Students will be expected to learn in depth about the different religions and their accompanying beliefs, and learn a brief history of many of the main cultures and ethnicities, exempt from Darwinistic beliefs and the mental models inherited by colonization, and learn about the different sexualities and identities. Knowledge is power. By educating students before society and social pressures can influence their perceptions, they would be empowered with the ability to make their own informed judgments, and hopefully have the strength to become an upstander to hate. We fear what we do not understand, and do not seek to change what we do not perceive as wrong. My solution challenges the idea of blissful ignorance. If students are capable of learning and comprehending why different beliefs exist, they will be less likely to partake in the promotion of hate as a misguided form of defense or reaction to fear. A weakness of this solution is that its positive effects would not be enacted immediately, and the current hateful mental models around the world will remain destructive. However, considering my teammate Paisley's solution, this weakness may not be significant, as her solution utilizes recreational rooms to provide safe harbor and educate people about the impact of hate. Therefore, together our solutions create both short-term and long-term educational benefits that counteract the promotion of hate. Regardless, I know that implementing changes to the school curriculum could truly decrease the amount of hate for future generations and societies. At some point, learning about diversity could become as standard as learning about English or maths. Other solutions I contemplated, such as a diverse role model campaign and community-driven festivals, did not have as much potential because they were voluntary. This means that the people who truly contribute to the promotion of hate would not be affected, and the current mental models around the world would not. This means that the people who truly contribute to the promotion of hate would not be effective, and therefore no real progress would be made towards solving the overall problem. This is why creating a system in which it is mandatory to learn about diversity would have the most significant impact in changing people's negative mental models. Sometimes the first steps need to be the most drastic. I will leave you with this final thought. If the solution is indeed changing people's mental models to foster more acceptance of a diverse world, then how will you examine your mental model to ensure that you have an accepting perspective of the diversity in which we live? Thank you.